Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Madam,
ma'am.
good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Nice to have you
Good
all
evening, ma'am.
here. Good evening. Thank you so much for responding. Hope you all had a great day at your school. So I'm really happy to see you all here back today. Well, let's get started. It's already 6:01. I'll share my screen. I had some activities planned yesterday that we will do it today. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So a quick recap of what we did yesterday. We tried understanding AI revolution, its importance, and where the world is going. We also learned how to upskill ourselves in two fashions. One is linear way and non-linear way. The pros and cons of each and how we can be the best teachers blending both methods. We also talked about a person, Yuval Noah Harari, who has written a book, who is a philosopher, but written a book on technology, connecting humanity, economics, technology, and philosophy. So, and we discussed first two chapters of book one, that is first standard book, and second standard book, two chapters. We also discussed the theme of this book series. And today I have some question to you, an activity basically. We also discussed how it is important for us to get active on LinkedIn to improve our profile, our career, and take it to a next level. Yeah, so this is the question. Now, I'm asking, there are two types of power supply, current, AC and DC, alternate current and direct current. Okay, now I want you to answer in the chat window, our laptops and mobile phones, are they DC devices or they are AC devices? Please type in the window, chat window, AC or DC. You can be wrong, it's okay, we are here to learn. Just a guess, or if you understand it, nothing like it. Please type in the chat box devices such as mobile phones, laptops, and computers. Are they AC devices or DC devices? Just type AC or DC in the chat window. Yes, Mr. Ajay says DC. Ajay Shah says AC. Sanjib, Mr. Sanjib says DC. DC. Okay. Yeah, a lot of answers on DC. Mr. Sunil and Anupam also says DC. Okay. Would anybody like to unmute and say why do you think they are DC, or how do you know that they are DC or AC devices?
AC is basically for the household, right?
Right. Yeah.
And second thing, all the basically mobiles and computers we work on household appliances, direct current.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Agreed. So that's a basic interpretation. Yes, that is right. All our electronic devices, they are DC devices. Electronics, there is a difference between electrical and electronics. Electrical devices work with AC power supply, AC current, alternating current, whereas Electronic devices such as laptops, computers, mobile phones, these work with DC devices. These work with DC power supply. Now, there are two types of currents. Let us not get into technical details of these types of current, but students should know that what are AC devices and DC devices. Because we being in engineering college, also in the first 2 years, we didn't know the difference between them, having learned science for 11th, 12th, cracking CET exams and all of these. Because nobody touches the fundamentals. Everybody assumes they already know or they should know. So in between, the fundamentals are gone. So you can ensure that your students know the difference between AC devices and DC devices. Now, there is a concept. How do the chargers work? Can somebody explain how do the chargers work? We use chargers for our phone and laptop. What is their role? Would anybody like to attempt answering this? How does the chargers work? What is their role in electronic devices? Such questions can be posed inside the classrooms. As soon as you enter the class, you can open your session by such questions, which immediately pulls the students into the attention span. You can hold them to your subject. Anybody willing to answer this? How do the charges work? Yeah. So Mr. Sanjib says any appliance which has battery uses DC. Exactly. Charger convert AC current to DC. Fantastic. Charger roll charges battery convert AC to DC. Exactly. Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Ajay and Sanjib. Yeah, exactly. The power supply that we get to our homes, they are all in alternating current. AC current is what we get through the sockets, the power supply to the home. However, electronic devices such as mobile phones and computers cannot work with AC current because electronic devices are not designed to work on AC current. They work with direct current. So in that case, it is required for us to convert AC into DC. That's the reason these chargers are used. There is some box kind of a thing on the chargers, if you observe, that is called a rectifier, which will convert AC into DC current. The box. Earlier, the chargers used to be very heavy. These days, the technology has improved even in terms of these chargers, and that's why they are lightweight chargers now. But however, the main supply coming from the socket, it enters our electronic devices, it converts AC current into DC current. If our fridge, washing machines, fans, these are all electrical devices, they can directly operate with AC current. But with electronic devices, it requires DC. So why can't we get DC power supply to homes when we have a lot of electronic devices? So the reason is DC current cannot travel for long distance without loss. AC current can be transmitted from the transmission point from electricity board, wherever it is generated. It can come through the wires till our home without any loss, much loss. It can reach our home. So AC current will not be lost on the way it reaches home, whereas DC current cannot be transmitted over longer distances. So DC current cannot be supplied from a faraway place. So that's the reason AC current is used from the sockets. We use chargers to convert it into DC and use them. Okay. Anybody who is willing to take electrical engineering, they will have a lot to do with all of these currents, how they make the devices run. Whereas electronics, it's entirely a different field. They will have a combination of computer science and also electronic technologies such as transistors, how a DC current flows, how the switching happens inside. So that's the difference between electrical and electronics engineering. So Yeah, these are the things you can tell your students before, just as an icebreaker, more than textbook, what is there, you can try to engage them by asking such questions. Yeah, the next activity will be just displaying the answer. Answer is direct current. Wall outlets provide alternating current. Computers use DC. So power adapters or converters or chargers, they convert AC to DC. Okay. So now the question is, before this, we will touch upon a little bit about operating systems. Okay, so we have heard of operating systems. Can you name some of the operating systems that are really famous, you know? Operating systems in these devices, be it phone or on our laptops or computers. Can somebody name an operating system? You can also put it in the chat window. What is an example of operating system? Name of Name some operating system. You can just type it if
Computer hardware, software.
hardware, software, yes, those are the components. Yes.
Uh-huh.
They are components, but
Okay.
yeah. So Mr. Sanjib here writes Windows, Android, iOS, Linux. Yes, these are all operating systems. These are names of the operating system. Miss Pragya Dikshit says Windows. Yes, Miss Harsha says Windows. Windows is a typical example of operating systems. Now, my question is, yeah, Miss Rekha says Windows, Linux. My question is, can the devices work without operating systems? You can just type yes or no. Can the devices work without operating systems? No. Mr. Ajay says no. Yeah, everybody says no. Most of them are saying, typing no. Yes, no. It's as good as asking. You can give an analogy. This is also given in the book, in our book series. So, an analogy of the timetable in the classroom. So, timetable in the classroom, suppose you assume in the school, timetable in the school, if there is no timetable, can the school run? Yes, the school can run, but it cannot run smoothly because any teacher can enter the class anytime. There is no assigned classroom for a particular grade. Any student will rush into any class. Everybody wants to access the playground at once. So all this chaos will be there if there is no timetable in the school. So this is an analogy that I insist you to give to your students to understand or imagine the role of operating system in either desktop computers or on the phone. That is how it helps because it helps in resource allocation. There is a time of the school, the resources of the schools are all managed neatly when there is a laid timetable and everybody have agreed upon. The same happens here. The school is nothing but the CPU or the processor of a particular device. All of its resources, its memory, everything has to be managed with different devices, I mean, different applications. So all that is done when an operating system is working actively to do. So timetable is an analogy given for operating system. So yes, there are, I'll talk about this. Before that, I would want to ask, how do we differentiate hardware and software? Hardware and software. How can we teach kids about hardware and software? Can somebody attempt this? If you have to teach the concept of hardware and software to students, Say suppose fourth grade student or fifth standard students. How will you explain?
Hardware is basically a CPU.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Hardware is basically a CPU.
Sorry, I lost your
The all hardware is
hardware. Yeah, we are you're trying to mention, but in general,
yeah, hardware is basically a if somebody wants to use
your voice is cracking, Mr. Ajay. I think there is
software
your network
and
has got
hardware
some
is
issue.
basically mouse and all that. Okay.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So that is right, but yeah, I think here Miss Rekha has mentioned exactly. Hardware is
hardware
something, yeah.
hardware are computer parts that we can see and touch that parts,
Mm-hmm.
and software we could not see that parts, and we could not touch.
Yeah, exactly. Many people have replied on the chat window as well. Thank you. So hardware can be explained as something which we can touch and feel physically. Those components are called hardware components, and software components are those which we cannot touch or feel directly, but we can see the things happening.
Yes,
So yeah. So for example, we are able to use our mouse, keyboard, screen, everything. We can touch them as well. But this whole Zoom platform, which is making things happen, but we cannot touch anything as Zoom. We cannot touch Zoom. It is just a software. We can feel, we can experience, but we cannot actually physically feel it. So such things are software. This is how we introduce it to the kids. So these are fundamentals, although we know it becomes really difficult to explain. So somebody, rightly says, I mean, an author has said, simplest and the most fundamental things are most difficult to explain because it shakes the whole understanding, and we need to frame lines for that. So this is a simple explanation, hardware and software. You can give examples such as WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all these, Google Meet, uh, and Gmail, all these are softwares. Whereas mouse, keyboard, monitor, tablet, phone, the actual phone is all without its software. This is all hardware. Okay, now coming to this point of operating system. Tell me if operating system is a hardware or it's a software. Is operating system a
It's a
hardware? Yeah,
it's a hardware.
okay. So people have replied here, Mr. Ajay, Rekha, Pragya, Anupam. Okay, so it is a software. Operating system is a software. We cannot see it, but it will actually help us do a lot of things. So this is a software. I'll just show you. I am using my board to explain. So my white screen is visible, right? Yeah. So what operating system does? First, I'll write it as CPU. CPU is a hardware component. It is an IC which is there on the motherboard. So there is an user. If everything that user inputs from his or her system, okay, through input devices, it connects to the CPU. And then something is processed here and it comes back as an output. So here there is a middleman, which is nothing but operating system, which we have to surpass operating system. So such diagrams you can show it to your students so they get an understanding. Although it looks like there is no there is hardly any steps between our input and output. Everything will go and access CPU, but it cannot directly. My keyboard will not directly enter CPU. It has to go through operating system and enter CPU. And again, CPU will send signals through operating systems and it will help it operate. So operating system stands as a middleman here, most important. Nothing can surpass it. Even if you install a software, it should be sitting on top of operating system. So if you download a programming language, somebody is downloading a game, it will always ask which operating system. Is it Mac OS? Is it Windows or Linux? Based on that, you click and that package will be downloaded. That is because any software is designed to first sync with the operating system so that it reaches CPU through operating system, no direct access to CPU. So this is an operating system. So in software, again, you have two types. One is system software. The other one is application software. So operating system is an example of system software. You cannot understand. There is no graphical user interface. It's all just lines of black and white code, which looks clumsy. You don't understand how it is managing, but it's just a piece of lines of codes which are running to mediate between CPU and the user. As application softwares are clearly visible for the user, such as WhatsApp, it's an application software. Your Zoom platform that we are using, Gmail, all these are applications used for some task. So whereas operating system, a software like this, doesn't look very pleasing, you cannot know how is it and cannot interpret anything, but it's the most important thing. So such a software is called system software. So this differentiation the student should get. Difference between hardware and software, when they learn, they will be able to place what an operating system is, where it stands, what it does. So this is something which I wanted to show. After which I want to explain in depth about operating systems. Operating systems, there are three major providers, companies. One is Microsoft. The other one is Apple. And then we have Linux. These are the three major providers, company which provides operating systems. So what is the product of Microsoft? What operating system do they provide? Windows. Windows is provided by the company Microsoft. Now Apple. Who will tell me what Apple provides? What's the name of the operating system?
iOS,
Yes.
iOS.
Yes.
Mac OS,
iOS and
Mac
Mac OS. What is the difference?
OS we can run on mobiles, and Mac OS we can run on computer or
Perfect.
tablets.
Yeah.
राहून द्या ना तुम्हाला काही.
Yeah. iOS is used for iPhones, whereas Mac OS is used for the laptop and desktop system of Apple computers. So Mac OS is used for personal computers and laptops. iOS is used for Apple phones. And Linux, I'll show you, but something which we are all aware of, Android is a part of Linux. Android falls under the distribution of Linux. Okay, so we can also show these to our students. It's all given in the book. We have already shown it in the operating system chapter. So yeah, Linux and Android. Now I will have an activity here for all of you. You can do it on your phone as well. So this is the structure.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I have a doubt. Instead of Microsoft, can we run or we can use Linux operating system?
Yes, you can use it. In fact, for industries and many applications when students become developers or software developers or something, if they know to operate on Linux environment, the probability of them getting jobs is higher.
No, it's maybe Linux having user interface, not only command prompt.
Yeah. Anyways, anybody who learns to operate with Linux, they will go a long way. They are not as comfortable as Windows, but if you learn to operate Linux machines, then you stand class apart from the rest of them.
What about school? Can we run Linux operating system in our schools?
Yes, you can run, but the thing is, all our books are Windows based. That's why every book mentions the operating system.
Hmm.
You can do it as an experiment, as an extra thing you can try to do, but the books are all based on Windows. That's why on the books also we have written Windows.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, good question. Linux is also very desirable. Now there is one more concept here. OS stands for operating system. Another term we have open source. What is meant by open source? It's a terminology. Open source. Open source means free to use. You need not have to pay for its license. You don't need license to use it. When we want license, we have to pay. So free to use. Now, among these three, tell me which are open source and which are closed source, meaning which are not open source. Can somebody tell me or guess which of
Windows is
these?
an open. Windows is an open.
Sorry, Linux.
Windows.
Sorry, Windows. Windows. He says Windows is an open source. Yeah. Okay. Windows is an open source, he says. Any other answers? Mac OS closed, Linux open source. Yes, fantastic, Mr. Sanjeev. Yeah. So, yes, Linux is an open source operating system, whereas these two are closed source, meaning we need to pay licensing. We don't realize because we will have paid it when we are buying the devices, it will be pre-installed. We will already have covered the cost through them. So Windows is not an open source, although a lot of pirated things happen there. But Windows issue, they have tried a lot to fix this issue. So Windows is a licensed one. Apple, all of these are licensed. Linux is the only one which is open source. And that's the reason a lot of projects are all built on Linux. And this is a big family. When something is called as open source, there will be not just the users, but also the contributors to that. It's a community, and many people make changes to it and let others use that version. And the discovery of Android was the same. When people try to change the operating system, I mean, working with operating system, when somebody says they know it to work at the code level, not just working on Windows, Microsoft, Linux user systems or anything, not operating on the, it's
Ma'am,
not
I
that.
think, excuse me, ma'am, Mozilla Firefox basically it's an open source. No?
That's a
It's a
browser.
Microsoft one. It's a Microsoft.
That's entirely a different thing. It's a browser. It's not an operating system.
Okay.
Yeah. Mozilla Firefox is entirely, it's uh, a browser. It doesn't come under operating system. Okay. So Yeah. When somebody says technically, a technical person who says, I know to operate on, I know operating systems, he means he can change at the code level, not just using or navigating through the systems like this on the devices. He means to say he can modify, he can change at the code level. Okay. Yeah. So Linux based distributions, we'll just check this, free to use, lot of weightage given on the industrial side, on Linux side, but as users, as consumers to quick learn, most of them use Windows. And yeah, with this, I'll just show you something, Linux distributions. I want you all to do this activity on your phone or systems if you have logged in. Go to Wikipedia. You can all demonstrate these activities in your classrooms to make it interesting. So I'll search Wikipedia. Inside this, I will put the word Linux distributions. So here I write Linux. It's a penguin symbol. Linux is represented by a penguin icon. Distributions. So we need to write this Linux distributions. Otherwise, it will take us only to Linux. So we click on this Linux distribution. So distribution is often abbreviated as distros. So it's free and open source software. So here, this particular image, I want you to click, zoom in. All these things we couldn't give in the book because it's impossible to zoom, scroll. So you can get these things done in the classroom. Always give reasons for the students to attend the class happily because they get more than what is there in the book. So you can see Linux, it started somewhere in 1992. In this, I want you to find Android. Just figure out where there is Android. Check on your phone. I'll give five minutes. Search well. I want somebody to interpret this diagram and explain. So suppose you're showing this to your students. How would you explain this diagram? I'll give 5 minutes. You can build a narration. How would you explain this to students? Yeah. So can somebody volunteer to explain what this is about and where can I find Android? I will navigate it based on your instruction. Yes, please volunteer to talk about this diagram. How can you explain this in simple terms? Yeah, can I expect somebody? Yeah, could anybody find out Android in this? You can at least type yes or no in the chat window so that I know you have done this activity. Could you find Android in this figure? Okay, two of them says they couldn't find. So this was just a demo of how big or vast the distributions, the different versions of Linux are. So many things. When something is open source, people take that, they modify it and give it a name and release it for the general public to use. So there are so many operating system versions derived out of Linux from the year. It all started in 1992. If we see here, SLS, Slackware, and a whole new family comes here, Debian, and they're branching out projections. Linux distributions, so many. I mean, it's literally impossible to remember all of these. Many come and they fade out. If you see, this has gone. Where it fades out, where the lines fade out, it means it stopped. It became obsolete. Nobody is using it. So this one, Linvo, it got dissolved in 2014. It doesn't exist anymore. Platypux, it got dissolved in 2014. So like this, it talks about the timeline. These are the ones who are still making it through. They are active. Some got dissolved here. Like this, if I just scroll it, Ubuntu also belongs to Linux. Red Hat belongs to Linux. We must have heard Ubuntu. Dream Studio, all of these, they come under the family of Linux. Let us just find out Android now. I just go scrolling down and down. You can see here, there it is, Linux. Android, if you can see here, Android 86. Which year did it start? 2007 it started emerging, and Android was released in the year 2009 or 10, in between that. Many versions have branched out from there. Below here, it changed. So many lineages of Android have come out. If you see, it is still persistent even in this. So invention of Android led to a big time into the burst of smartphones, people using it. Because it is open source, it will not add on to the cost of it, and many other factors played a role in populating even the general public with smartphones. Because until 2009 or 10, there was no operating system available or the IC or the processors available to be fitted onto a device as small such as phone. So with the advent of all of these technologies, smartphones became evident. Till then, smartphones was just a myth or a dream fantasy. But today, the kids doesn't know how the older phones looked. So we can show the older phones, their limitations, how development of these things led to smartphones. Yeah, I'll just show you. Yeah, so here the smartphone revolution. When did the smartphones truly emerge and what are the factors contributing to their development? Basically, we talk about Linux distribution here because of the advent of Android. And not just that, there are many gradual evolutions from personal digital assistants with cellular connectivity, and it evolved later on. Better chips, that is processors, IC that could be fitted on the size of a phone kind of device. Batteries evolved, which would convert. And if you see earlier phones, we were able to remove the battery, but now it's all inbuilt. The technology of battery changed, the software's changed, which is nothing but Android, and the networks changed. Everything has given rise to the emergence of uh, smartphones. So significance of Android based on Linux kernel, it is open source, leading to wide adoption of these. So these are few things which led to the burst of smartphones. Everybody started using it. You can do this activity in your classroom, Wikipedia, Linux kernel, its base, and showing them. Yeah. So these two activities were planned yesterday. Let me navigate to today, whatever we have planned. So if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt in between and ask me. So the topics planned for today, we will just focus on. I think we have covered a little bit of operating systems already. Meanwhile, I want somebody to just answer why Windows could not come up with a phone of its own. Why Windows operating cannot have its phone. I want you to search, understand, and explain here. You can use your phone, you can browse the internet, but you can reveal it here. Are there phones of Windows? Why not? Okay, when Mr. Ajay says Windows has mobile, but Android is mobile friendly and economical. In short, it says they tried, but the market was not responsive. Meaning nobody were buying it. They tried coming into that field. They were late, or rather, they could not. So yeah, exactly. Some phones are there, but it didn't quite go well into the market. People were so much, they had embraced Android so much that Windows were just late, or they could not attract the market. Yeah, Mr. Sanjeev says Android operating system is bought by Google. So I don't I'm not sure of this. This is the first time I'm hearing. Maybe you know it, but what is the point of buying an Android system? Who is there? Because it's an open source. How can Android be bought is my core question. Anything that is free, I would just want to research on this and get back. I'm not sure. So there is no answer that I can give right away. But it is derived out of Linux distribution. Yeah, Mr. Ajay says it's costly because when there is no big market, the cost is all levied upon those small buyers. Only when buyers increase, the cost will reduce. So there is a business element to it. That's why Windows Phone could not sustain, or they are not popular even if one or two are there. Yeah, right. So such discussions you can spark into the classrooms and make the classes more interesting. Yeah, thank you for participating. There is a lot of energy in this batch, I must say. In the month of May, it was really difficult to make people respond. But this is quite energetic. Yeah, thank you so much. So today we'll be covering these two topics from the book, Surfing Internet, Understanding Emails, Operating Systems, Introduction to Windows. A little about these operating system and Windows we have covered, but we will see how in the textbook we have developed these concepts. I would like to open the book itself. Give me some time. It takes some time to load. Yeah, I'm assuming my screen is visible. If not, then let me know. Okay, so the first chapter in third standard is surfing the internet. We see that already kids start doing this without knowing the pros and cons or the proper procedures of surfing the internet. We thought it will be relevant or good for the teachers to induce them it right in the school. Again, we will have questions posed for them to think. What is the use of internet? What do they use internet for? And name few things they should be safe on the internet. So this probably they might not even thought of this word being safe on internet. So it will provoke their thoughts. There is an analogy given like the city we live in and streets. It is self-explanatory. I wouldn't want to discuss or spend time in discussing, which is obviously understandable by all of you. So in terms of internet, we need, there is a website for everything that we explore. And there is this concept of www dot, the name, the domain name, and .com, .n. So now my question is, what does .com mean? What other things do we know other than .com? What is the meaning of .com? What is the meaning of .com? Commercial, yes, Miss Geeta, it's commercial. It stands for commercial. The domain, internet domain system, .com is commercial page, yeah. So which other domain do you know other than com? .gov, okay. .edu, yeah. Co.in. What does IN stand for? .in. .in. It means India. It's a domain name usually taken for India. And these days it is trending .ai. Anything that ends with .ai, it's fast selling. So AI is a new domain system that people are all after it. So IN stands for India. Like that, place wise also there's NL stands for Netherlands. So these are different naming systems that students can be made aware of. And what is a web page, what is a home page, and browser. This is what, there are different browsers. What are these browsers actually? They act like a place to connect from our computer to the internet. We have to go through them to access or to dive deep into the world of internet search. So the different examples are Google's Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Microsoft Edge. So Internet Explorer it doesn't exist now. It was just older version. So the browser, website, all these components, the students will already be using it, but they have not learned in systematic way. They will know to operate, but they don't know what each one is called. So we try to fill in the gaps of the students here. Tell them the keywords, show them that this is an address bar where we give the address of a particular website. This is a refresh button. This is moving next and moving to the previous page, search bar. So we just try to fill in the gaps of the knowledge of the students. You can see .co, .in, .com, periwinkle, IN stands for India. Amazon.in meaning Amazon's products or e-commerce website meant for India. So small examples of how to find information online. So the steps are revealed here. They need a browser to start searching. Google is most celebrated and used. So we have shown that example. So how to browse information, and after browsing, we teach them the concepts of downloading and uploading files into the system. They search for a picture of Kalpana Chawla, download it, save it in the system, and again, how to figure out this or retrieve this downloaded files. So they go to the downloads option and retrieve. See, if all of these are built, these books are built on Windows. So there is no way we can relate these to Linux. So a fun activity to find their capital cities, their famous food, download and save it. We have also ensured to discuss about the safety while using internet, not to share personal information, because these days it's full of ads. Kids find it attractive when something flashes there. You won a prize, you won something, or congratulations, click here. So they should be explicitly told about it. Otherwise, yes, it's obvious that they don't happen, we ignore, but as kids, they need to understand this, not to click on them. And always ask parents before downloading anything from the internet that looks creepy, that doesn't look nice. Do not click on any advertisements. We should tell them so that we shouldn't assume that somebody is taking care. The parents feel that the school has taken care of it, and schools feel that parents will take care of it. In between, the kid does whatever he or she is curious to explore. This is most important. Do not communicate with unknown people while using the internet. Because I have seen this in many houses. The kids, if they are constantly compared and they are uh, abused, or they always hear not so good things about themselves. You are so bad, you don't do this, you don't do this, look at that kid, he is so smart. They will be wanting to get connected with people who are nice to them. They don't understand that there are no real people, or very hardly any real people on internet. If somebody gives them provides, I mean, connects them with nice words, there is all the probability, especially in the generation of AI, there could be some scam where somebody is trying to be really nice, impersonating a human, and causing a lot of harm. So it's a matter of psychology and technology, where we should be really aware, take them into confidence that nobody is real on the internet. 99% of the people or things that come, just give it a second thought. This is how we have to educate them, not to trust them, even if they are nice and it feels good. And also at the same time, we should ask them to be respectful to others online. This case, this is an example where YouTube, I know a case where the YouTube, lot of videos, they learn some slangs in Hindi, and which are not pleasing to hear. They are intimidated to use them somewhere, and in the comment they see somebody commenting such, using such words, and they also want to comment. They're not even aware that those comments are going from their parents' mail ID, and how it is not good. So we should educate them that we should be really polite and respectful, use nice words, whatever we type in the word of internet. It could be mail, it could be comments on YouTube videos, it could be social media. They should use the polite language and respectful language, and no emotions to be displayed on the internet, on social media, anywhere. Yeah, so such discipline we can bring in the students talking about internet. So there is a small story about a guy called Arush, how he uses internet for his project. It's self-explanatory. You can explore this. Match the following. And there are descriptive question and answers. We will provide the teacher's manual covering all of these. It should be there in another week. It is under review. We are doing it. It got some delay because the books itself we launched in the month of February, and all the other deliverables are being still worked upon. We are releasing phase by phase. So the deliverables of all the first grade PPTs are first released, next the next. The videos are also in the making on YouTube, explaining every chapter with screen recording, animations, voiceover. So those are all in process. I'll show a glimpse of them in the end. So they are under process. They will be out phase by phase. First chapters of all the grades will be out, then the second chapters in the next week. So probably there are 52 chapters considering 8 books from first to 8th standard. So 52 chapters we should be able to upload by the end of July. And the first chapters will be released this week only, the video content. So there is a mini project as well. Again, the mini projects will all be suggestive, and you can try to be flexible in getting these done in your own way, creatively. So the second chapter is about understanding emails. This is very important because I remember me having explored to create an email ID on my own. If I remember my first mail ID, which was around 20 years ago, I guess, I cannot really share that mail ID with anybody. It is not at all professional. It is like I rock, I don't rock, all of this, I rock, it's me, such things. We should really induce them, talking about how to have neat names where you can use it throughout your life. And most of them, the kids who are using YouTube and who are on internet, they don't know that the email ID holder will be responsible for any nuisance that they create. It's a responsible act. They need to have an email ID, but there is a rule that a student below 13 years cannot have an email ID without guardian's approval. Above the age of 13, they can have. So we tell them the uses of email. We talk about this, the structure of an email ID, unique name, combination of numbers and letters with special characters that are allowed, which we have given, domain name, Gmail, and .com is an example. It could be anything. So we have given few domains, Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook. Gmail is most commonly used. So the unique names can contain these uppercase or lowercase, digits from 0 to 9, special characters. All these are allowed, but we don't get to see them because nobody has used them. So we think that they are not allowed, but one can try having them. Yeah. So creating an email ID. This is an activity I want you all to try on your phone. This can be done by the students with the help of their parents at home. They will come back to the school and explain their experience. Or you yourself can try doing it for your kids and demonstrate or in the classroom. So there is an app called Google Family Link. This is an app which will let the parents create an email ID for their kids, yet monitor their activities and keep everything in track. So follow these steps, install this Google Family Link from the Play Store. And continue to follow the procedures. Click no, step by step. This is a long activity. Give their first name, then enter their mobile number, that is your mobile number. And once you do this, you give this access to them, you can control, you can see their activity, they will still use it for themselves without using your own mail ID. So I just want you to explore this. I will give 5 minutes, for 5 to 10 minutes for you all to try this. Google Family link. All right, so could anybody explore this?
मैम ये थर्ड स्टैंडर्ड को ईमेल का क्रिएट करना जरूरी है?
जरूरी तो कुछ नहीं है, बट वी शुड टेल देम दैट how to have their own mail ID and be responsible if they are creating. Nothing is hard and fast. All that we are given in the book is to induce them neatly to certain things.
It's too early, no, ma'am?
Yeah, it's too early. That's why they can have a child account. The earlier you teach the more responsible they are. Otherwise, they are using their parents. They don't understand the concept of mail ID. They simply keep using all the apps, all the games, and whatever they can do from some mail ID. This is just to make them aware that mail ID is something which is required to show your online presence, and it has to have a responsibility. That's it. Whether you want to make them create or no, that's secondary, but demonstration and conceptual knowledge is required. They need not create. This activity need not be done.
Okay.
But we should explain the concept, such a thing exists.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is purely for the parents. They should also be involved in one or two activities because they have paid for the book. If we involve them, they know that, okay, we have paid for the right reason, or even if it puts them in difficult situation, they should know that this book is worth. So how to log into a Google account on other devices. So it's all whenever they are going to YouTube, Gmail, they need these. For everything, it's their existence in the world of internet. So how to access this also once they create, how to get into Gmail and explore. Also, we have shown the steps. How to compose a mail, inbox, which are the features, snoozed, sent, drafts, to subject, body, conceptual knowledge. If the kids can pull off doing it on their own, in every region there are different levels of maturity, and even in the same class there are different level of students. So anybody who can pull it off to create, nothing like it, and anybody who can just understand it conceptually that such things exist, let them stop it there. So subject line, how to compose a mail. A small example we give, just inviting somebody for the birthday party. So some guidelines for the parents. This is mostly with the parent and the child. The teachers can only involve in explaining the concept of mail ID, emails, how emails have to be drafted, how to use your mail IDs. That's it. How to be safe while sending and receiving mails. Some tips are given. So write an email to your cousin inviting him or her to school's annual day to watch your performance. Do not forget to mention the date, time, and place. So a caselet, a fictional story again here. How to be safe online, not to click on random things that pop into the inbox. Anything that looks strange. Before opening and clicking on any links, we should ask a parent's permission. So some interesting points in the end, workstation. I think that, okay. The third chapter, which will cover Google Maps in the next session in the month of July. So with this we move on to the fourth grade book, which has two more topics, that is operating system and introduction to Windows, which we have already covered to some extent. We will just go through in what sequence we have given it in the textbook. Yeah, another input for for teachers, somebody who asked about mail ID. If you cannot create conceptually when you're teaching, make them to do it all in their book. Let them create a unique mail ID, write it in their book. You can verify how they can make it better, not sounding too unprofessional, kiddish, or trying to be very apt. So, using the domain name, that activity on paper can be done in the classroom.
Okay.
Yeah. This we discussed in the opening of the session. Operating system is an important software on the device. It is a software. In the previous grade, we have covered already hardware and software. So in line with that, we will tell them that operating system is a software. So it is like the boss of this office, everything has to go through it. It is there on both computers and phone. This image illustrates that. So resource allocation, how much CPU time each application gets. So interface also differs. Windows interface is different. Apple's Mac OS interface is different. How the user feels. Interface is nothing but how the user feels. And how does the operating system work? Here we have given the exact analogy of a timetable. With this, I'm sure they can understand the importance of operating system in any device. Then we have covered different operating systems, Android, which is very famous. Then iOS, Linux, Mac OS, Windows. And we have also given topics here. What if there was no operating systems? So they will imagine and really appreciate the operating system, the uses of operating system, security issues, multitasking is not available. If they are typing, they cannot print. If they are listening to songs, they cannot type. Hardware compatibility, like device drivers like printers, keyboard, you cannot connect with them without an operating system. External devices cannot be connected. And there is something called kernel here in the operating system. In the operating system, this is all a software, but in that a particular piece of code is acting as a kernel, which is the brain of that operating system. So now tell me, is kernel a software or a hardware? Is kernel a software or a hardware? The kernel of the operating system. Yes, it is a software. It is a part of system software. There are big lines of codes. You can imagine some black and white lines of codes there. One particular piece of software, which is super smart in managing all of this, that piece is called kernel. It is the most important software piece of that operating system, which will help interact between the software, that is application software, and the hardware, such as WhatsApp and hardware. There is an operating system, and the kernel is the main thing in the operating system. The lines of codes, which is again a software that will help. So suppose we are making a video call using WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is a software, and the camera, the phone, the device is all hardware. So connecting WhatsApp software to the camera and mic is coordinated by an operating system, and inside that, the kernel is the main initiator. So this example you can give them, they will know, they will remember it. Making video call from WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is a software, whereas phone's camera, the device, and the microphone, which is inbuilt in the phone, those are all hardwares. So hardware and WhatsApp, they combine together with the help of kernel of the operating system. They can make the video call happen. So UI UX, meaning the front interface, how the user get to see. If somebody, if the users get to see all the code form, nobody will be happy to operate that. So whatever is happening in behind the logic that is working, there should be a cover, front nice cover to it. And that is why that is called UI and UX. For any computer application, we need that UI UX front interface, user interface, where we type a message on WhatsApp, where there is a button to send photos. So how is all that designed? That is another skill. And then file management. How do we save the files? How do we organize in different folders? All that is, those are the features given by operating systems. And something called device drivers. Device drivers, again, what are these device drivers? Are they software or hardware? Device drivers.
Software.
Right. They are also softwares. So they act as translators. They are piece of code again. They connect, when we connect pen drive, there is also a driver. When we connect printer, there are some pieces of lines of codes which connect. Those pieces will go and fixate themselves on the code of the operating system, whatever code the operating system has. So the pieces of code from that printer will go and fix themselves in the operating system. So they go in coordination and make the things happen. Although the word says device drivers, it looks like hardware. This is a software piece of code that makes the things work. So when we plug a new printer, the computer uses device driver to print out documents. It's again a piece of software. System utilities. It's again a piece of software. Although the name sounds like they are hardware devices, they are all pieces of softwares which make the interaction between the hardware and software devices more meaningful and smooth through the root of operating system. So system utilities like cleaning up the disk, fixing some, troubleshooting something, or protecting it from viruses. There are different pieces of codes that do this. They are called system utilities. They are again the piece of softwares. Is a story of a girl called Preeti who discovers old phone which does not have internet. It is only helped in calling people and sending SMS. It didn't have anything, touch screen or anything. So this generation kids have not seen such phones. So it goes nice. It goes very well to them as stories. You can show how those phones were. We have shown this illustration. So earlier the phones were like this, and now it is like this. It was unable to do a lot of things. With the invention of operating systems and so many things changing in terms of technology, the smartphones have emerged and they are doing wonders. A mini project exploring different operating systems. And all these projects, it's again depending on the amount of time you have. If you can really plan well, some of the mini projects you can assign it to the class and make a project exhibition kind of thing in some Saturdays or just for fun. You can make posters and let them display, call all the students and see their performance. Some extra activities you can create. If it doesn't allow you, then you can just ignore. The time doesn't allow. This book is designed in such a way that somebody who wants to, not just this book, the entire series, who wants to do a lot from the field of computers and technology, they have everything. If there is time constraints, if there is constraint of resources, or even if they are not very keen on exploring, there is an option for them to just leave it. But it is designed to the highest level where they can actually explore all of these. And the second chapter, first we introduce them to the concept of operating systems. We tell them the different forms, different types. We have not referred to the open source and all of that. If your students have the ability to grasp them, you think you can also introduce them to the concept of open source, being free and licensed. Just 2 words, you need not explain in depth. Just tell open source meaning freely available, closed source meaning you have to pay for the license. So Windows is not open source. We have to pay. But the cost is usually covered in the systems that we purchase. Yeah. So after that, we introduce them to the word of Windows because most of them use Windows. So can you make 2 to 3 tasks at the computer at the same time? They think and say yes, no. So it's a new, it has, Windows provides user-friendly interface. That's the edge that that's why it became very famous compared to other things, other operating systems, such as Linux derivatives. So Windows was first made by Microsoft in the year 1985. Computer back then looked very different, and we see the evolution of Windows version 1 and all through it through Windows 11. How the icons have changed, how the features have changed. Newer versions became faster, safer, and they provide more features whether you want it or not. Sometimes it becomes annoying. Why is Windows popular? For its user-friendly interface, widely used everywhere, lots of programs and games, support multiple devices. What can they do? So these are all up to their discovery, connecting with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, creating folders. Then we also teach them the basics. All that present generation kids know to do is go to Google Chrome and search for YouTube videos, search for something, go to some websites. But they actually don't know what to do when there is no internet on the system. So they don't know to create file, they don't know to save the folders, nothing. All they want is to jump, use this device as a gateway to jump on the internet. So these things we are to be taught, even without internet, what can be done using the systems. Showing these features of this PC, recycle bin, settings, download folders, creating a folder, giving the name to it, opening back that folder, adding new files, just a Microsoft document file we are trying to add and show it because in the previous section they have learned something about Microsoft or Word. Switching between programs is all possible because of this operating system features. We go in depth about CPU processors, the speed. So CPUs, earlier CPU ran at 1 to 2 gigahertz, while modern CPUs, they range from 3 to 5 gigahertz, some reaching 5. They should know these numbers, configuration of a system. The increase in CPU frequency, meaning the faster they are, the higher the frequency, the faster they are, and smooth performance. Okay, there is an interesting caselet about cooling fans. There is some odd sound that it produces. So Namit is a boy who kept playing games all day, the laptop with Intel i5 processor, and suddenly it starts making a noise. He gets panicked and asks, "What is it?" Then his father explains that you have overloaded the system, meaning the CPU is continuously working on your game and it is getting heated up. So the cooling fans run to stop it from overheating. So the workstation here, and then comes a mini project. Okay, so this completes the first two chapters of fourth grade. Now I'll just ask you, how do we get to see the configurations of a computer? What is the RAM? What kind of processor it is? How do we get to know? The student should be taught about this because they need to understand the configuration, how to gauge which is a better system, faster system, and which is the latest version. They need to know. For that, you can also try if you're on logged in from your laptops. So on this taskbar here, right click, you get task manager. Click on this task manager. A window will open. Here you can just see performance. Click on performance. And then if you click on CPU here, we see this. This is the specification. You can get an activity done. Students have to write in their books in the lab the configuration of those systems that they are using in the notebook. So they need to configuration, meaning about the processor. So this is i3 processor. They come in odd numbers. i3, there is no i4. The next version is i5. Okay, Intel provided by the company. This IC chip is provided by the company Intel. Yeah, the operating system is by Microsoft Windows, but the CPU is from Intel, and the core, that is CPU, is i3, and this number 10 after the hyphen 10, it talks about the generation of the processor. It's a 10th generation. So in short, they need to tell what is the configuration of your system. They need to tell that it's Intel Core i3 10th generation. And if you can see the CPU, the speed of it is 2.1 gigahertz. And yeah, so they can click on the memory. Here, it's a 4 GB, 4 GB RAM. So they need to write down in their book and tell them these are the configurations of my system, and compare the configurations. They need to do it in the school. They need to go back, and if they have laptops at home, they should check the configuration and come up with a comparison saying this one is faster, more efficient, this has more memory, this is faster than this system because of these numbers, these features. This activity you can get it done from the students, noting it down, getting it. So this is how we check the configuration. And GPU is used for all the games that they play on the computers. GPU is required. So GPU is important to play all the graphic related thing which kids enjoy. Yeah. So these are the things which we can get done beyond the textbook. So if you have logged into your system, you can try this. I'll repeat, you can just click on this task bar, right click, then task manager. The window opens up here, and you can click on the performance here. You will be seeing its performance, CPU, memory, and they can note it down. So if I see the processes, I'll just show you. You can see each application, how much of CPU's capacity is being used, what memory is being used, everything is shown. Now we are on Zoom meetings. It is occupying, it is dynamic, it keeps changing. So 16 to somewhere 20% of the CPU's time. The memory used is 211.2 MB. And how much of a disk is occupying, what is the speed, the internet that it is accessing, what is the speed. So somewhere background processes. If you can see Google Chrome, it's been used so much. Firefox is using so much. Task Manager that we just opened is using so much of CPU. This indicates everything that we open, it is using CPU. And how its ability or its availability is allocated, that is using operating system. So operating system does the task of allocating memory, CPU, and also connecting with network. So if you see, there are many applications which are not active and the CPU usage is 0. So any applications, those are not active, which are installed but not active, it shows 0%. The moment you start activate any of these, there will be some number shown. Yeah. So this is how, these are the extra activities that you can get it done from your students. Yeah. So with this, we complete today's session. I want to show you the videos that we are making. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Can see this in mobile. Yeah, mobile, we will be able to see the configuration from the system about the phone. We will get to know the properties, which version of Android is used. So the processing speed, RAM in the mobile also you can see. From settings about phone, you will get all the details. Yeah, I'll just open and show you the glimpse of the videos that we are creating, which will be uploaded on the YouTube.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, I just wanted to know any idea when you'll be getting this manual book or teacher's book?
Yeah, manuals, yes, they are under review. That is most important. We are hurrying it up, but it goes into multiple levels of review. We do it, I review, and it goes to the periwinkle team. They have to review. So it's taking some time. We will be able to
Uh-huh.
by 25th June.
Yeah, once the session will start, you'll immediately
Sorry, your voice is cracking. I'm unable to.
will ask for the teacher's key answer. Once the school will start, school may ask for the key book.
Sorry, you're not audible completely. There are broken pieces of words that I can hear. Hello.
I'm
Hello.
I'm 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 texting. Yeah, I'm
Okay, sure. I'll read it through. Meanwhile, I'm sharing the screen. Okay. Is my screen visible? I'm playing a video now.
Hello, little learners. We are happy to have you join us on this exciting journey into the world of computers with Binary Brains, the language of computers. Grade 5, Lesson 1. Today, we are going to dive into the world of data storage. Let's begin. We are going to learn about what is data storage space, types of data storage, storing data on computers and in cloud providers, features of cloud services. Let's start with what is data storage. Just like we keep our pencils, books, and a lunchbox safely in our school bag, a computer also needs a place to keep its information safe. The space where the computer stores all its files like pictures, games, videos, and data is called data storage. Let's understand better. What is data? Data is like milk or data that is made up of 8 binary digits or bits. It is used to represent a character such as a letter. They form 1 kilobyte. A small text file might be 2 to 10 kilobytes. A small image file could be around 100 kilobytes. Megabytes. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobytes. That means when 1024 kilobytes come together, they form 1 megabyte. Megabytes measures song files, emails, and high quality images, etc. Also called as hard drive version of your internal hard disk. It is used to store extra data or to backup files.
Yeah, so that was just a glimpse of the videos that we are making. The first grade videos will be released next Monday on YouTube channel. You can use them. I mean, all the first chapters of 8 grades. So layer by layer, we will be releasing them. July 26th, we have planned to release all the 50. By then, all the 52 videos will be out. Yeah, lesson plan, something. It's texted. Yeah, once the school will start teaching, we'll ask for key book or manual book. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they have, I understand that we are already late because the schools have started and they need answer manuals. We are trying to speed it up, but the thing is, we cannot surpass the review. We cannot directly send it to you people. It has to go through multiple reviews. That's where it is taking some time. So allow us 1 week to 10 days more to share. A soft copy of this manual will be shared in the group, or we have our own platform which I will show maybe in the next 2 days sometime, where teachers can download the PPTs. You can also get access to these videos that the recordings will be posted there. It will also be on YouTube. Wherever you feel comfortable, you can access them. But a dedicated Dattamsh platform is available where we upload all the teaching material. There is a teachers section separately done on the platform. I'll show that to you tomorrow or the next day or on Sunday. I'll show you how you can download, how you can access. And there are quizzes uploaded both for teachers and students separately. So teachers can take the quiz and a certificate will be generated saying you have completed level 1, level 2, and these. Additionally, the training certificates for teachers are different, which we'll be providing. So there are 2 types of certificates students will get, and quizzes also can separate quiz for teachers and students are there. Students can also log into our Dattamsh website and they can log into a platform, give the quiz and earn themselves a certificate joint branded by Periwinkle and Dattamsh. So these are e-modules available. All these training recordings will also be posted both on YouTube channel of Dattamsh and our website, these training videos. Whereas the animated videos that I just showed, you can access it from Periwinkle channel, which are uploaded. There are already videos of me explaining the gist of each book, grade 1 book, grade 2 book, which are uploaded on Periwinkle YouTube channel. I'll share that in the group. So besides this, we are also developing a gamified learning option for students, which will be on our website, where it's fun learning, drag and drop features, understanding more gamified way of understanding these concepts in nutshell. So those will also be given. So these are the deliverables that we are committed, and we are expediting the process. We will ensure that you get the best. We may miss the deadlines, but we are trying our best. That is 25th June, we should be able to give all the lesson plans, or at least whatever is finished, I'll try to share before that. And then 52 videos will be uploaded. The maximum time limit is July 26th. Before that, we should be able to release phase by phase so that it helps. Above everything, this teacher's training will definitely give an edge for and confidence. I believe will give you confidence to take this ahead and make the most out of these trainings. Ask the questions. I insist you to go through the chapters before you join. And if you have any questions specific to those chapters, you can ask it here. Like Madam asked her, do we have to make them create mail IDs? So we could clear it out conceptually, or you can just teach and finish off with that. You need not go on getting an actual mail ID. Conceptual process is okay, just enough. So such queries, if you have confusions or any problems in understanding how this has to be delivered, please discuss it here. We all want you to walk into the classrooms confidently and make the class very interesting. And you can also share if going ahead, the level 2 sessions will be done in the month of July. You can also share your experience as how you taught a certain concept differently than that is in the book and how you made it interesting, how students enjoyed. All that can be shared. You can share your experiences always. Yes, so with this, we complete today's session.